Ayubowan. Today the lesson is about long letters, long words in adjectives. I have put on the board. Now here we don't use est at the end. The words such as, I have written here, what it comes to long adjectives, we use more and most. Now these two words we didn't do in the previous lesson, right? That is, we did so far only comparative, and thereafter we have to do superlative, which we followed. Here for long words we use more and most. More කියන්නේ ගොඩක්, ගාක්ම කියන එක, most කියන එක. Now beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Now when you think of something beautiful, especially when you go for a place where they are selecting Avurudhu Kumari, එහෙම නැත්නම් sing Miss Sri Lanka, එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔක්කොමලා වගේ ලස්සනයිනේ. So beautiful එකට අපි එක එක්කෙනාට එක එක opinion තියෙනවා in beauty. Some people say this one is nicer, the other one is better. එහෙම ඔක්කොම කියනවා. Beautiful කියන්නේ හුඟක්ම ලස්සන නම් එතකොට ඒවට එලා හුඟක් ඉන්නේ beautiful අයනේ. එතකොට අපි ඒගොල්ලන්ට කියන්නේ, okay, we'll give for example number 1, number 3 and number 5. Oh, someone will say number 1 is beautiful, but the number 3 for someone else will look more beautiful. Then number 5 could be the most beautiful for another person. It fluctuates. It's the idea. It doesn't have everybody. It does not mean that number one unless you are outstanding, right? Like Cleopatra, everybody will say it's beautiful, most beautiful. But then in a pageant, generally you don't see extraordinary beauty. Once in a way, yes, but generally one will say number 1 is nice, number 3 is nice, number 5 is nice. So the word beautiful is used here when you say beautiful, lassanai, adjective එක lassanai කියන එක, වඩා lassanai, right? Someone will say වඩා lassanai is the second one. Sorry, the number 3 I said, beautiful. Then 5th, another one's opinion. I taught you the meaning of opinion in one of my lessons, previous lessons, so I suppose you remember. The other one's opinion will be, number 5. Number 5 is the most beautiful. Now, after that, there's no other word. You say most beautiful, that is the maximum. You say beautiful, more beautiful, understand? And most beautiful. So I got a good example where almost everybody is beautiful, right? And next one we'll see is careful. What is to be careful? Careful කියන්නේ ප්‍රේසවෙන්න. Careful කියන එකත් ඒකටත් අපි අර කලින් lesson එකේ කරා වගේ es දාන්න most එක දාන හන්ද අපි ඒක වෙනස් කරන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් අපි කරන nicer කියලා ගිය පාර කරේ nicer එහෙම කරානේ. මේකට එහෙම දාන්න බෑ. එහෙම දාන්න එපා. එහෙම දාන්නේ නැති හින්දායි මම කියන්නේ you use the words more and most. More and most කියව. ඒතකොට then careful, more careful, most careful. Now we'll take an example. More careful is ප්‍රවේශම් වෙන්න, more careful. එතකොට මොන හරි හුඟක් වෙලාට මේ හුඟක් හඳුනාගෙන ඉන්නවනේ. හුඟක් ඇඩම් ස්පීක් උසයි තමයි. ඒකට හුඟක් දැනලා කියන අපිට නැකලා තියෙනවා. ඊට වඩා අතන එවරස්ට් වගේ තංගු යනකොට extraordinary careful වෙන්න ඕනේ. Most careful if you are climbing Everest, because that's a very, very high area. Climatic conditions are different, so you have to be more careful. ඒකට තමයි අපි විතර කියන්නේ careful වෙන්න ඕනේ, more careful, and then most careful could be the tallest mountains in the world, when you have to climb, you have to be most careful. And also in winter countries, when there's snow, some lakes are all frozen. Frozen කියන්නේ ice මිදෙලා lakes වල යනකොට සමහර අවස්ථාවල් වල තියෙන ඕවා කැඩෙනවා crack වෙලා වතුරට වැටෙනවා. එහෙම වෙනවා. So when you're sliding or walking across such a place, you have to be more careful because you never know what will be in store for you. That means if it's dangerous, it is harmful. So someone will say be careful. Then one will say you have to be more careful. Then another place it's most careful. වඩාත්ම careful වෙන්න. පංගුවක් කරලා හිටපු ගමන් ගිනි කඳුත් පුරනවානේ. නේ? ඉතින් පංගුවකට ඉන්ෆෝම් කරාම you have to be careful කියලා එක ඒ තැනින් අයින් වෙන්න එහෙම කියනවානේ ගිනි ලැබ ගිනි වගේ එනවා. ඉතින් ඔහොම දේවල් වලට තමයි මේ careful කියන එක. අනික් එක විස බීජ කියන ඒවා අපිට හැදෙනවා කියනවානේ එක එක ඒවා හේතු හින්දා මధు රෝගයෙන් විශේෂයෙන්ම එහෙමින්දා you have to be careful in certain areas when you're working in the garden. Sometimes there are mosquitoes. Now there you have to be careful, right? Very careful. So you say very careful. Like you have to be more careful when you're working outside in the gardens, right? And the most careful is if there are tremendous amount of insects. That you have to be most careful. If you're walking in the jungle, if you want to go across the jungle, there could be vicious wild animals. So therefore you have to be most careful. Next one is comfortable. Comfortable කියන්නේ සැපයි සනීපයි කියන එක. Comfortable වෙලා කියනකොට අපි seat එකක් ඉඳ ගන්න තැන comfortable ඇඳක් මෙට්ටේ හැටියට comfortable වෙනවා. And when you are going to select, you want to get a comfortable bed, then you sit on it, touch and see whether it is to your satisfaction. Satisfaction කියන්නේ තමන්ගේ සතුටට පුළුවන්ද කියලා. මේක හොයනවා comfortable එක. Comfortable. බසස් වලත් යනකොට ඉන්ටර්සිටි එකේ සීට් එක comfortable හින්දා වැඩිපුර ගෙවලා යනවානේ. Because it is comfortable. And the most comfortable is the other. Now trains are very comfortable. So here we use the word comfortable, more comfortable, most comfortable. All this is we are comparing. In my previous letter I've taught about the comparison. This means comparison, right? So if you want to use the word careful, with that you use more careful. She said that for long words, adjectives have a different way. I have written more and most are the words that you use. In the previous letter it was different. Now here there's a slight difference. So you have to use more and most and when to use it. සංසන්දනය කරනකොට දෙකක් මේ දිග වචන එනකොට ඒ වගේ අපි දාන්න ඕනේ more කියන එකයි most කියන එකයි. Most වඩාත්ම කියන එක තමයි most කියන. ඒතර මේ comfortable එක එක විදිහට ඒවට comfort හොයනවානේ පංගුවක්. ඒගොල්ලෝ ඇඳ විතරක් නෙවෙයි ඉඳ ගන්න පුටු ඒ වගේ වල වඩා හොඳයි කියලා හිතන එකට ඒකට තමයි comfortable කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒතර එතනට මතක තියාගන්න අපි දාන්න ඕනේ වචන more වඩාත්ම නම් most. Next one, the last one is ignorant. What is ignorant? Ignorant is not having a knowledge of certain things. Now I am sometimes ignorant of scientific issues. I don't know because that's not my subject. Likewise, it happens to everybody. They think, okay, I don't know this subject, I have not done it. I am ignorant of that particular thing. So ignorant can come in any form to anyone. All people are not clever to know all subjects all the time. They know what they had studied, they are okay. But then some subjects, you're ignorant. Ignorant කියන්නේ දන්නේම නැත. මරත් තියෙන දන්නේම නැතිව මේ ලෝකෙ ගොඩාක්, right? It means that is, I am ignorant in certain aspects, right? And එතකොට more ignorant කියන්නේ මේ හුඟක් වෙලාවට මුකුත්ම දන්නේ නැති අය තමයි ignorant කියන වචනේ පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. Ignorant කියන වචනේ පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ හුඟක්ම දැනීම නැත්තම්. ඒකට කියනවා ignorant person කියලා කියනවා. Very ignorant කියන නොදන්න කමට කියන වචන තමයි ignorant කියන. ටිකක් අර දැනීමත් කමත් තියෙන්නේ. ඒගොල්ලන්ට අපි ඒක පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැහැ. නමුත් there are people පාවිච්චි දන්නේම නැති කිසි දෙනකොක්ම උගත්කමක් නැති ඉස්කෝලේ ගියේ නැති දැන් නම් දෙකේ පන්තියට හරි ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා කියලා හුඟක් දෙනෙක් කියනවා. ඉතින් හුඟක් දේවල් දන්නේ නැති වෙනවා එතකොට. ඒක අපේ ඉතිහාසය ගැන දන්නේ නැති කෙනෙක්ට පුළුවන්. ignorant වෙන්නත්. මම දැක්ක දවසක ඉන්ටර්විව් එකක ආනවා. රුවන්වැලි සෑය කවුද හැදුවේ කියලා. ඉතින් මේ ඉන්ටර්නැෂනල් ස්කූල්ස් වල ග්‍රැජුවේට් ළමයි වගේ අය තමයි. ඕක උත්තර දැනන් හිටියේ නැහැ. ඉන්ටර්විව් කරා කීප දෙනෙක්ම හරි කනකාට හිතා ගන්නත් බෑ මේ ලංකාවේ සිංහල ළමයිට රුවන්වැලි සෑය කවුද හැදුවේ කියලා ප්‍රශ්නේ අහනකොට ඔයගලන්ට දකින්න ඇති ඒක. ඒගොල්ලන් දැනගෙන හිටියේ නැහැ කියන්න කවුද කියන එක. They had been ignorant. They are clever in some aspect. In some subjects they are knowledgeable. But certain subjects they are ignorant. Now this is an example I told about not knowing who built Ruwanveli Sahib, a Sri Lankan singer. Many, not one, so many did not know. I don't know how the person who wanted to get at the people who did not know rather than people who knew Ruwanveli Sahib. When I saw them, I knew they are the international school style students. Sorry about that, okay. So this is ignorant. ඒක හරි කනගාටු හේතුවක්. ඒක ලංකාවේ ඉතිහාසය දන්නේ නැහැ කියනකොට ටිකක් දුකක් හිතෙනවානේ. ඒගොල්ලන් ඒ සම්බන්ධව ignorant. Next one is more ignorant. එතකොට එක්කෙනෙක්ගෙන් අහලා උත්තර දෙන්න දෙවෙනි එක්කෙනාට යනවා ඊළඟ එක්කෙනාට ඒගොල්ලොත් ඒ වගේ. They are also more ignorant and දන්නේම නැති ඒගොල්ලන්ට කිසිම දෙයක් රුවන්වැලි සෑය කියන එකක් දන්නේ නැත්නම් they are most ignorant. මම මේක උදාහරණයක් දෙන්නේ. මේ රුවන්වැලි සෑය ගැන කියද්දි අපිට අපේ හැමෝම දන්න දෙයක් නේ. ඒ නමුත් මම මේ එක්සැම්පල් එකකට කියන්නේ දන්නේම නැති අය ඉන්නවනේ. එතකොට most ignorant කියලා තියෙනවා. Now got it? Right. I'll give you one more example for ignorant කියන එක. මොන හරි කරන්න දන්නේ නැතුව සමහරට වැරදි තැනකට යන්න පුළුවන් නොදන්නකමට වැරද්දක් කරන්න පුළුවන්. That's another way of saying ignorant. Not only where history is concerned, but science or whatever it is, or when you're going to a place, you can go to a very dangerous place because of ignorance. Ignorance can නොදන්නකමට. So ignorant, this person ignorant is an adjective. Remember, all these are adjectives with longer words. That's why we have to use more and most. Ignorant person, more ignorant, දන්නේම නැහැ කියන එක. ඉතින් most ignorant. ඉතින් මෙහෙම අය ඉන්න ලෝකෙ. ඉතින් අපිට certain subjects we don't know. We are ignorant. අර හුඟක්ම දන්නේ නැහැ හැම නෙමෙයි. ඉතින් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් දන්නා වුණත් particular subjects, if you are not familiar with, you become ignorant. So these are the words that you have to learn when you are using, not to use er like I just told, nice, nicer, like I told. You don't use the er for these words. Never use it. Use it like more and most. That's all two words you have to remember. මේ නාම පද අපි මෙතන විශේෂ පදයක් තමයි කියන්නේ මේ ඒකේ වඩාත් කියන එකට තමයි more දන්නේ වඩාත් ම කියන එක තමයි most කියන්නේ most ignorant. You go to a class to teach, they are most ignorant of what English is. You go to a wayside school and try to teach them. If they don't know even the alphabet, they become the most ignorant. I like such classes to teach, right? They are the most ignorant, to whom we should help. ඒකට තමයි most ignorant. So these are the words that you generally find where you have to use more and most. That's about all in adjectives, long words I have written. In top, you write. And I think that should do for today. Okay? I would like to remind you of the alliteration. I went through the list. Very few like to listen to lessons and learn, because there are such interesting episodes on TV, on handphone. People tend to ignore. But if you are interested in learning English, alliteration is a must. I understood somehow preference to certain lessons, but when it came to alliteration, I thought many would like, because that gives the exercise to your tongue. Without the exercise of the flexibility of your tongue, you cannot speak English correctly. That is why, please go through the lesson alliteration, because when you talk English, it is flat, the sound, it does not come properly if your tongue is not attended to. You have to make it flexible, because Sinhala and Tamil languages do not have the pronunciation of what we have in English. There's a difference. Though those languages are very well advanced, they are well advanced, but then when it comes to speech, in English, certain sounds we have to concentrate. I have to tell that I was feeling very sorry these Sri Lankans are not knowing what alliteration is and what it do. So I mentioned it in the lesson that it helps you to speak English properly. Pronunciation does not come just like that. අර බුලත් කන කටකට ඉංග්‍රීසි කතා කරන්න බෑ කියලා ඉස්සර කාලේ කියමනක් තිබුණානේ. ඉතින් මම ඒක අහලා තිබ්බ ඒ කාලේ. නමුත් මට ඒක තේරෙනවා ඒක ඇත්තක් තියෙන විත්තිය. කතා කරනකොට අර ලස්සන සවුන්ඩ් එක ගන්න බෑ if you don't have the flexibility in the sound. So I'm here mentioning you now. That was few months back. Alliteration was I introduced, because teachers think, oh, that it's not so important, but I think it's important to listen to someone speaking nicely with correct pronunciation. But if you don't have that flexibility of your tongue, you cannot actually talk sweetly, in other words. So please go back to that lesson. Some would have not mentioned, some would have said, what is this alliteration? Oh, just rattling some words. No, it's an exercise. It's a very important exercise. If you can read those, I told you, if you can go through those very fast, that means you are ready to speak English without a flaw. Your pronunciation will be adhered to. Please go through the alliteration. That's a request I make, because everybody speaks, everybody, in the sense many speak English, but they don't have the proper tone. They don't get the tone. Then the alliteration helps you to improve your pronunciation, and then you can speak nicely. Do the alliteration. Sometimes you would have found it very boring. What are these rattling words? What good does it do? But I have mentioned in the lesson that it helps you with your tongue to use words correctly. Okay? Then I think I'll wind up for today, and EST lesson will come after this. It's already ready though, but I wanted to introduce a little bit of more and most also includes in these adjectives. These are all adjective, long words. You only use more and most for comparison. Right? Okay, then wish you a good day and a very happy new year and prosperous days to follow. Study well and may all your wishes come true. Okay? Bye for today. Thank you.